Everyone, welcome back to another video, and this time on position paper writing. Specifically, a number of you asked me about that in Erfurt, and in addition to the presentation that I will send around, I decided to produce this video. And right now we're looking at the same sample position paper I talked about in Trier. And if you remember, I tried to show you something with these three colors, and that will be one structural theme of this short video. I tried to highlight different key components of what a position paper should entail. In yellow we marked, or I marked, key documents, key UN documents on the topic, certain instruments of international law that are relevant and that show to the reader that you actually understand what the topic is, its history, and how it's framed on the international level. Everything marked in green concerns the domestic area. So what is the situation on this particular topic in your country? What is your own country doing with regard to the aspects of the topic? And blue, why is this relevant to the international level, and what should the international community, the UN, or other countries do about it? And I've marked this for this topic on the link between diamonds and armed conflict, and on the rollback of malaria. They do look a bit different. The picture looks a bit different. This seems to be much more structured already. If I didn't say it in Trier, I will say it now again. I don't really care if you alternate between key documents, a description of what your country is doing, and the international level. So to speak, if colors alternate. I personally prefer bigger blocks of one color, because I think it is easier for the reader to understand. But there is no specific right or wrong. But I've already read some really good position papers coming from you, from Trier, and I wanted to show you one example where I think this has been done already in a really good way, and I wanted to highlight a few points that I liked about it. There are a few things marked in bold in the text which shouldn't be in bold, but it's something I wanted to highlight, and they're just marked in bold as a reminder for me. And this is pretty much the position paper as I got it. I went over it very briefly and cut a bit from it, but this is largely how I got it. And the topic is human trafficking. Everyone can see in which country. Don't even go into thinking about who wrote it. Doesn't matter. But it's a good one. Let's look at first at the big yellow section on the international framework. It goes down to, it focuses on the key documents that are relevant for human trafficking, and that is the UN Convention Against Transnational Organized Crime and the protocols to it. and it mentions an implementation plan. But this is enough. There's a solid paragraph that sums up this framework. I marked this in green, but you could mark this in yellow as well. This is basically one big paragraph. The first one that establishes, okay, I understand the topic, I understand what the UN is doing about it, what the instruments are in international cooperation. Yeah, so we can already make a check after this first, this yellow task. And then when you go through the text, what is being done really well about the domestic situation is it focuses on different aspects. Focuses on different aspects of the topic. So there's talk about sexual exploitation. There is talk about refugee and work migrants. It also focuses on different instruments of a country has domestically tried to address the topic. So changes in the criminal code, support programs for the victims of human trafficking, awareness campaigns about forced labor, about sexual exploitation. Very different aspects of the topics and different instruments that you can use to address a certain aspect. And then with regard to what the international community should be doing and the UN should be doing, you see again a longer paragraph on that. The different aspects that were talked about before in the domestic context are picked up again. And what is really good and what the people who read your position papers in New York will notice are aspects like this, where you actually show that, okay, you know that there is an instrument. You don't want to establish something new, but you understand how the topic is being implemented within the UN system, and you suggest something for a very specific purpose. And it's not about creating something new that you just think is important. The author also shows that he or she understood where the UN is currently at, what the challenges are, and therefore proposes to do, in this case, increased training of legislative forces and to modify already existing tracking identification criteria. Good. Having said that, this is something I really like. I will also circulate the file to you so you can look at it again. There is no right or wrong way, and depending on the topic that you'll be writing about in your position paper, the paper might look very different. But this as an example of how things can be done well.